Okay, so you have your exam in 2 days, and it will cover what 2 topics? Okay, binomial theorem and parabolas. Okay, the homework we just turned in, the problems we're currently looking over right now. You're going to have an exit ticket today, and that's going to be another grade. Your focus activities are due tomorrow. There's only 2 of them because honestly, I don't think I'm going to have enough time with this short week to create another 1 or 2 focus activities, so we're just going to have a short set this time. But we definitely want to go ahead and start getting ready for that test. How many folks have started studying already? Good, good, good. Quite a few hands going up. If you do have any questions, just let me know. You can turn in your focus activities today, but like I said, tomorrow is when they're officially going to be due. And let's see what this focus activity number 2 says. The arch of the railroad track bridge below is in the shape of a parabola. The 2 main support towers are 208 meters apart and 80 meters tall. So it's talking about these 2 towers on either side. Sorry about the diagram being a little dark. Okay. The distance from the top of the parabola to the water below is 60 meters. So for part A, write an equation that models the shape of the arch. Let the railroad track represent the x-axis. So what I was talking about in these types of problems a few moments ago, you're going to go ahead and try to figure out where you're going to place your origin, and this is telling you where to do so. Let the railroad track be the x-axis. So I would say, let's go ahead and put the origin right there. So that can already kind of give me an idea of where your vertex is going to be. So the vertex is going to be right here on the parabola. In fact, can anybody give me the coordinates of the vertex? Where'd you get the negative 20? There you go. There's a 20-meter difference. These support towers on either side, they're 80 meters tall, but from the water to the parabola itself, when it hits it, that's only 60. So she's absolutely right. So this vertex right here is 0, negative 20. And we can also go ahead and get a couple of points on the parabola as well. What would this right side point be? So think from the origin, how far horizontally do I move? If I know the distance between the... There you go. So what's half of 208? 104. So this one would be 104. Well, now, no, we don't want to subtract the 60. How tall is that support tower? So that would be negative 80, right? And then likewise over here, because of the symmetry, this one would be negative 140, negative 80. Okay. So it wants me to go ahead and write an equation. Well, I'm again going to do what we did on the homework assignment just a moment ago. I'm going to start with the basic form. Because this parabola opens down, I'm going to use negative 4p times y minus k is equal to x minus h squared. See, I've got the vertex, but I don't have the value of p, so I'm going to use that same trick. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I put 140. Sorry. Just saying if you're paying attention, you got to make sure you guys are on your feet. A little too quiet in here after I said that. That's okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and plug in everything. And it doesn't matter, again, what point you use. 0, negative 20, that's going to be my HK. And whether I use the negative or the positive, I'm going to go ahead and let's make that my XY coordinate. Okay, let's use that one. So I'm going to go ahead and plug these 2 points in here. So this is going to give me negative 4p times. Okay, so I want y minus k. So I'm going to go ahead and take negative 80 minus negative 20. I'm just going to go ahead and substitute right now. And I'm going to set it equal to x minus h. So that's 104 minus 0. So I'm just going to go ahead and say 104 squared. All right, so is everybody okay with what I did? Okay. My goal right now is trying to figure out what the distance between the vertex and the focal point is going to be. All right, so let's see. I'm adding 20. So negative 80 plus 20 would give me a negative 60 times negative 4. Positive 240. Okay. Equals 104 squared. I remember from the last class it was like 10,000 something, but I don't remember the exact number. 10,816. There we go. 10,816. And let's go ahead and find what that P is. divided by 240. Okay, control divide. Oh, interesting. It divided it by 240. Okay, I did not want to do that. So how about we do this? Approximately convert to decimal. Okay, so there's the distance P. So let's say 45.1. Okay. 45.1 meters. Okay. Now, part A is wanting me to write the equation, so what do I have to do with that value of P? We got to multiply it by 4. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and multiply that by 4. Okay. So let's go ahead and say 180.27. Okay. So here's my equation. Negative 180.27. And I'm going to go ahead and use the vertex, 0, negative 20. So this would be y plus 20 is equal to x minus 0 squared. Or you could just say x squared. Okay. All right, so I would say that is my standard form parabola that should model what we have in the picture. So A is done. Any questions on what I did? How many people had the equation before we got started? Hey, so a few folks. Good. You're the first people today to raise your hands. That's excellent. Okay. All right, so B, what's it want me to do? Two vertical supports attached to the arch are equidistant from the center of the parabola as shown in the diagram. Okay. Find their lengths if they are the 86.4 meters apart. So it's talking about these two supports right here. Okay. And I found it kind of unusual that they labeled them in the diagram using what? X. What are they actually wanting me to find here? Okay, what's that, Aiden? The length of those, well, what would that represent in the equation? The height, which is what variable? Y. That would represent Y. Okay, because we already know the location of H and K, that's a single point, but I just found it kind of unusual that they were doing that. I mean, that's what they want us to find is that actual height there. So are they giving me a value of X that would help me do that? Remember, we know that these two supports are how far apart? Okay, they're 86.4 meters apart, and we know that all parabolas are, what's the S word I'm looking for? Symmetrical. Okay, so how far horizontally, if I'm thinking about this as a coordinate, would I have to move in order to get to that beam, that support that I'm wanting to find the length of? Okay, half of 86.4 would be 43.2. So what it's asking me to do in part B is take this value of X that I was able to get from the diagram, and I'm going to go ahead and plug it in to my equation. There's the 43.2, and then that will allow me to figure out what the corresponding height of that support is. Is everybody okay with what we're doing? Okay. All right. Well, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and say, if I distribute negative 180.27y minus, I have no idea what that is off the top of my head. So I'm going to go ahead and take that times, since that's negative, it's going to be negative, that's needed times 20. Okay. So 3605.33, let's see how that decimal turns it out. Okay, so it's 0.3 repeating. 3605.33. 3605.33 is equal to 43.2 squared, 1866.24. 1866.24. Okay. And all we have now is just a simple two-step equation. I want to add the 3605.33 to the 1866.24. So let's see what I get there. Let's go ahead and add that guy right there. So I'm getting 5471.57. 5471.57. That's equal to negative 180.27y. And all I got to do now is divide this by the 180.27. And we should have my answer. Okay. Ooh. Forgot to go ahead and put it in the divides. Hopefully it will take the answer. Let's see if it does it. Of course it did. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this then. Oh, get out there. There we go. It wouldn't let me move. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's going crazy. That was weird. Okay, so I was needing the 5,000 number. This one here. See, there we go. Okay. All right. Now, I went ahead and used the positive value. Now, solving the equation actually gives me a negative result, but where we place the origin, does it make sense that I would get a negative? But in this case here, we're simply wanting the height of that particular support, so we're just going to ignore the negative, okay? Because obviously the support's not going to be negative 30.4 meters, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and say about 30.4 meters. There we go. Now, the folks who raised your hands on part A, did you folks also get the height of that support? Okay, Dylan did. Aiden, how'd you do? Did you get B as well? You did? Okay. Who else raised their hand on that support? Raphael, you got it? Nice. Okay. Any questions? So seeing a problem like this, does that help out with maybe if you're having an issue on some of the remaining word problems for the homework? I would go ahead and work them pretty much in the same way, especially in order to find P. Okay, so you can go ahead and turn those in today if you'd like. But let me go ahead and shut this down. It's time for our exit ticket. And we have a decent amount of time. Okay, good.